have Marianne here, who I believe is for one of the applications. So we just want to keep your video and mic off until your application comes up, and then the chair will call you.
Thanks. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, sorry,
And we're
folks.
live.
I'm a little out of practice. Yeah, we're live, so I'll hand it over to Karen.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everybody to the Heritage Permit Review Subcommittee for February 18th, 2025. May I, as we have a quorum present for today's meeting, I'd like to call the meeting of the Heritage Permit Review Subcommittee to order. Well, first is the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? And I see Graham and I see Katie. And is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none. And Carol, if you, I don't see your camera on, so if you do have anything to say, please raise your hand electronically. All right. Thank you. Okay, so seeing none, that motion is carried. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest today? Okay, I see none. Okay, approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. So from the, may I have a motion to adopt the minutes as presented for the minutes, the meeting January 21st, 2025. I see Sandra. And do I have a seconder? I see Graham. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, that motion is carried. So on to the permit applications for this evening. We have 4. That's correct, right? Okay, so first one, 9.1, HP 2025-002. City right-of-way on James Street South, Hamilton in the Durand-Markland Heritage Conservation District. So it's a Part 5 property. And the application is for removal of a sugar maple tree in the city right-of-way due to unsafe conditions, and planting a replacement Armstrong maple tree in the same location as the sugar maple to be removed. Now this application is retroactive because the tree has been removed because of the emergency nature of that. So do we have someone to speak to the application, or will that be someone from city staff?
Hi, Karen, through the chair. I can speak to it. This is a retroactive one that Dawn was processing. So the tree has already been removed due to its emergency nature. And it is and we're just planning to replace the tree with an Armstrong maple, which is a native tree native to Ontario. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions about the application you guys have.
Okay, do we have any questions from the committee? Okay, just a comment, during the preparation for this meeting, when I was meeting with, we actually saw a graphic of what the tree would look like, and it seems it is a maple, you know, looks like a sugar maple in terms of the beautiful colors. I think the habit is tall and not as wide as some other trees, so it should probably good for that spot where it's sitting. Okay, all right. May I have, if there's no further questions then, may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of Heritage Permit 2025-002? I see Matthew and I see Sandra. Thank you. And is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, that application is carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to our second application for this evening, 9.2. HP 2025-003, 155 Main Street North in Flamborough. known as Crimson Maples on Mill Street. Yeah, sorry, it's in the Mill Street Heritage Conservation District, and that's a Part 5 property. So the application is for demolition of the existing contemporary one-story detached 24 by 24 foot garage, demolition of the detached rear woodshed, approximately 140 square feet, and construction of a new 1.5 story detached 24 by 29 foot structure, including a two-door garage in the first story with carriage style doors, white vinyl windows with mullions, clapboard siding, materials still to be confirmed, and asphalt shingles. So, do we have a representative from the applicant here to speak to the committee?
Yes, that's me, Mary Ann Brown. I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, so Marianne, thank you for joining us. Normally we give the applicant, a few minutes if you'd like to give a little bit of background or some more information than what was just read out there. We'd be happy to hear from you, and then we may have some questions for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you taking the time. So we have quite a large property. I've put an addition onto this house and been through the heritage requirements once previously. The house itself is, about 1910. Not making any changes. This is a detached garage that is well set back from the house. It's on the absolute outskirt of the Mill Street Heritage District. We're literally at the far corner of it. And this building is in fact even beside, like, its closest building is not even our house. Its closest building is a contemporary apartment that's 2 stories high, owned by Rotary Garden Court, housing seniors right now. So yeah, we're interested in putting a secondary suite in the property, and so that's what this second story will need in order to create the secondary suite. The existing building, I can't keep it because it's got no foundation, so I can't put a second story on it. It's a slab on grade style construction, so we can't put a second story on it. It needs new foundations. So hence the demolition and the reconstruction instead of simply reconstruction. It's going to look not that much different really to neighbors compared to what it looks like now, but we'll have more peaked roof and occupied in the second story. I think that's about all. I've been back and forth with Lisa about mullions in the windows, whether that does or doesn't make sense. And it'd be nice if I still could maintain some flexibility with her so that we can sort of make a final decision on that post this meeting. I've also been back and forth with her on material of cladding. My current house has a wood cladding, which is not zero maintenance. I'm hopeful to find a product that gives me the look I want that might be, less maintenance than wood cladding. So I'm hopeful that we can come to a conclusion that satisfies both of us. And the look is very important. Lisa and I, again, have been back and forth on that. We know what we want it to look like. I just have to find the right product.
Okay. Thank you, Marianne. Are there any questions from the committee? I see Graham. Graham, please go ahead.
Yeah, my only question is the color you chose, like in the picture. So you're going to color match the house, correct?
I'm going to color match the house. That's the plan. Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, that was my only concern. I'd like to see like the way you have the image drawn with the mullions on the top and to match your house. I think that'll look pretty sharp. So I have no concerns because right on the edge of the district and that block townhouse next door, it's going to actually pretty the neighborhood up.
And I'm hoping to put a roof on top of the bunker thing that they have. We're going to donate that to the building next door. It's got a flat, I don't know if you can see that in any of the photos, but there's this flat concrete structure that's like it's on the other people's property. it's outside of it and it looks quite ugly, really. So I've been hoping to put a roof on it for years. And when I have contractors on the property, I'm going to do that because a peaked roof on it, because kind of an eyesore actually.
Sort of help
Next to
hide
it.
it. I could.
Yeah,
Yeah, you see those kind of things in playgrounds for soupy structures and that kind of stuff too. They're not
exactly.
very nice.
No, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Anybody else? Okay. And I understand one of the members of our committee who's not here, he actually was out speaking with you as well.
Yeah,
Andy, because he's
Andy lives in the area. He lives in the neighborhood just over there. And we've gotten to know each other over the years. My husband and I were the ones who did the old library. We renovated it. So we've been here for that purpose too. And Andy was kind of instrumental in making sure that we kind of followed the process and made sure we knew what we were doing. And yeah, so Andy came out on the same day that Dawn and Lisa came out too, just to have a look. See.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, if there's no further questions then, may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of HP 2025-003? Oh, Alyssa, you had a question?
Yes, to the chair, Alyssa Golden, Cultural Heritage Program Lead. Just wanted to pull up the draft proposed conditions to go
my
along with that.
apologies, of course, yes.
Just one sec. And just while I'm doing that, I believe it was indicated in the note sheet. That's not what I'm supposed to be sharing. One sec. Any PowerPoints open? Oh,
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yes, the conditions are as the two standard conditions, and also that the final details of the windows, garage doors, siding, and roofing materials be submitted to the satisfaction and approval of the director of planning and chief planner prior to installation. So this discussion's still going on, which is good, and which is what the applicant told us. So, okay, with these conditions, then, may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of the heritage permit 2025-003, subject to these recommended conditions? And I see Carol and I see Katie. Thank you very much. And is anyone opposed? Oh, Andy, welcome. Okay.
Sorry for the technical, if I lost my iPad, it's not working. I'm on my phone now, but sorry about the delay.
That's okay. We were just speaking about the second application, the one in Mill Street Conservation District, and we were speaking on your behalf. Sorry you weren't here. to say that you didn't have any concerns, or do you have any concerns you wanted to bring up at the last moment?
No, I actually, Marianne contacted me. I went out just to have a look at it. And I don't see it being a problem whatsoever. The siding on it is so thin, you can actually move it with your thumb. It's the building itself that they want to take down doesn't have any kind of heritage impact whatsoever. And it's also on the side of the it's all John Street, sort of, rather than Main Street. So yes, I did have a look at the project, and I don't see any issues whatsoever with moving forward.
Okay, thank you for your input. All right then, with that being said, so we have two mover and a seconder already. Is there anyone opposed then to the application? Okay. All right, so seeing none, that application is carried. Thank you. And so, yes, staff will be Marion, thank you for coming in. Staff will be in next steps. Appreciate your time.
Okay. Thanks very much. Thank you. Okay. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Okay, bye-bye. All right, moving on to the third application for this evening. HP 2024-004, which is 50 Markland Street in Hamilton. So that's in the Durand Markland Heritage Conservation District, so Part 4 property. Of existing wood window, replacement in kind of the front door, painted black to match the shutters. The front entrance side lights, transom and surrounds will remain and be painted cream. So now, as you may recall, we already saw this application for pre-consultation and we gave some feedback. And so now, so do we have a representative from the applicant? Eric, okay.
Hi, everyone.
Could you introduce yourself, please? And if you'd like to take some time to give a little more information than what we just said here, please do so. We'd be happy to get any more info from you.
Yeah, so I think it's mainly the same group as last time, but just to kind of reiterate and go over, we had split this up, and I've been talking with some window restoration companies, and in this proposal, we're looking to restore the front 5 windows and the front door and door assembly there, keeping the existing side lights and transom in place, repaint everything in the cream color as per the proposal. One thing I would kind of caveat into this is, in talking to window restoration contractors and working with the grant program and everything, I can see that this process will take quite a bit of time. So I would just ask for the committee and like Heritage's assistance in extending this application and keeping it open for as long as possible while I manage this work. And that's basically it.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Are there any questions from the committee? Graham, please go ahead.
Well, thank you for coming back, and a massive thank you for restoring the windows and not tossing them in the trash heap. That was great news. Friends of mine, you might know Janice is one, are very happy to hear that, and they actually liked the color choice. And I got to say, I prefer it over the white myself. So it's going to look really nice to see it all done. So hopefully, we get a chance to see this project all nicely completed and beautiful. And I don't really see a problem with the permit being more than 2 years. I think we've done it before. So
Yeah,
that's only, mine's more just a comment, because it's great to see someone taking the time to fix something instead of throwing it in the garbage. Really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
no, yeah, thank you. I know my pre-construction submittal created a little bit of confusion with the drawings that were submitted, so we went back to the drawing board, had that redone. I guess just kind of a note, I don't know if this is the right platform, or if there's any way to, like with this group, to work on the heritage funding. I had expressed some concerns or grievances with Lisa and the committee there. I am trying to get as much work done and restored as possible, and I do feel like I'm almost being penalized for it being a single family dwelling, rather than chopping this house up into a multi-residential structure and having a bunch of renters in it. And it's limiting my heritage grant funding a little bit, whereas I could tackle a large portion of work and kind of get the scaffolding done on the front facade, get the bricks restored, the mortar restored, the windows restored, and kind of done all at once, so to speak, rather than live under construction and have this for the next 5 years ish. So I don't know if there's ever any allowances or changes to that, if I can just kind of put that out there for thought.
I'm not sure that's anything this committee can comment on. I'm not sure. Alyssa, I was wondering if you might like to chime in on that. Thank you, city staff.
Yeah, through the chair. Thanks, Eric. And I know these conversations continue. I think Lisa would have relayed You're not alone in terms of we're seeing increased costs for scopes of work. The program that Eric was mentioning, our grant program that's eligible, that sort of fills the gap from our larger program right now, primarily focuses on single family homes versus multi-residential. And right now it's a matching grant up to $5,000 per year. So for larger projects, for those designated property owners, they may look to phase that work, whereas we have a much larger property grant program, which was intended to target more so adaptive reuse, multi-res, commercial institutional properties. And right now that is specific, the eligibility is geographic specific, in addition to the types of uses. So this is not, unfortunately, a new challenge that we're seeing, especially as inflation and other costs are sort of, we're seeing a rise in the costs of work done on our designated properties. So it's something that we're continuing to have conversations with our colleagues in economic development about, who administer our programs, and look for opportunities to either increase the amounts for the two programs or look at broadening the eligibility for our larger program as well.
Great.
Okay, thank you. All right then, and if there's no, are there any further questions from the committee? No, all right. So, all right then, so we will move on. May I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of Heritage Permit 2025-004? So that's the one. Thank you for the conditions. And so what you'll see here is they are the standard conditions. Thank you, Alyssa, for putting them up there, except that we have recommending extending it to 2030. So an additional, I guess, 4 years to complete this work. And that will allow, hopefully, the granting process to work out for the applicant. Okay,
you.
so may I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? I see Sandra and I see Carol. Thank you. And is there anyone opposed to this application? Okay, seeing none, that application or the motion is carried. So appreciate that. All right.
Thank you.
So yeah. Oh, Carol, did you have something to say?
No.
No, we're all good. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Okay. All right then. So thank you for coming in again. Appreciate it. And it looks lovely when it's done. As Graham said, colors look great. And it is always very gratifying to see as opposed to replace. So thank you for that, Eric.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm here
So
to stay for the next one though, so you're not getting rid of me yet.
right. Okay. Here we go. So now again, the this is HP 2025-005, 50 Markland Street, again in the Durand Markland Heritage Conservation District. It's the Part 5 property. And this one is the second part of the application that he came and spoke to us about pre-consultation last month, I believe. So demolition of existing 2-story rear brick addition, construction of the new 2-story rear addition with a hip roof and clad with salvaged historic brick, and localized masonry repairs on the original structure. So, Eric, is there anything to add about this one?
I'll touch on it again just for the people that weren't here in the pre-construction. Hopefully the proposal is fairly straightforward. We have an existing structure. I mean, I call it an addition. It sounds like it's quite an old addition to the back of the house, and just looking to increase usability and kind of functionality into the backyard of the space of the property, and from a user's perspective, make it a little bit more attractive. Hopefully, a lot of the